Hello everyone. So in this tutorial, I thought of continuing with my existing agenda of creating the function modules and then calling remote function modules and all, and then further lock objects and then uh, creating batch jobs using program and function module. But then there was another important topic which I didn't discuss till now, and that is going to be important. It's basically a control break statement. So basically, control break statement can also be treated as a control break event. So we have four different control break events in SAP: at first, at last, at new, at end of. So the ground rule for these four control break events or statements would be that they will be working in a loop. So it's very useful. For example, you have a loop in which you have set of records. Let's say you have thousand of materials, and then materials are repeating in every line. So for example, first 10 lines related to one material, next 2 lines related to other material, and then you want to run your loop whenever there is a change of material. So you can use at new matter, means whenever there is a new material, then only your logic will process. Or at last, if you want to display some kind of summation or something, you want to do a summation, you can do an at last. At first is basically for the first record. At end of means at end of the final processing. So in fact, when I was trying to find out an example in Google, I got a good example which I'm going to execute in front of you. So some site is there. What they are doing, they are fetching the data from MARC table. So basically material and plant they are fetching, and then they are applying different events there. So you can see at first, at last, at end of, and then you can see at new. So, and this is the kind of output we can see. So we are going to execute the same example, and then we are going to see the impact of this. There is another event on change of. On change of, basically first thing, it's basically an obsoleted event, so we won't be talking about it. And then if anyone is there in the interview asking you about it, so the simple thing you can tell them that on change of, first of all, it's an obsolete event, but then it's quite similar to at new. So the difference between on change of and at new would be that on change of can work in other kind of loops also. For example, do and do. So do and do on change of can be used. Case and case on change of can be used. uh, yeah, so that's about it. It can be used outside a loop also, but then at new will be working only inside a loop. So I mean, having said that, I would also like to mention here is that, I mean, I never got an opportunity to use on change of during my tenure. So I was able to manage with the events, four events which I just mentioned, that is at first, at last, at new, and then at end of. So these four events are going to be very useful, and then we will be just going through it. I try to find out some other. So you can say someone has also said here that it's obsolete, but yeah, so you can see at first triggers for the first loop, at new triggers whenever new field value changes, at end of triggers at the end of every field value, at last triggers in the last loop. So this and this, first and last. At end means triggers at the end of every field value. Okay, so let's go back to our SAP screen and then try to see the impact. So I'll be doing the same thing what I just saw in the example. You'll see people who create the program using SE38, but then I always prefer creating it via SE80. I follow the I follow the better practice, not the best one. I mean, everyone would be having their opinion, but I like this way of creating, because this way everything is embedded within the same program and it's easy to track also. Whatever you create will be coming here. So what essentially we are going to do here is that we will be creating, hold on, I'm getting a call. Okay, so we will be following the same thing. I'm going to create a type structure which will have on the data from marc, so begin of ty underscore marc, matner type marc hyphen matner, or what we can do, we can refer to a data element directly, matner works type. So this is my internal table. Work area would be, so I am ready with my internal table and my work area. Okay, I am also creating one more work area and we will see the impact of this wa underscore temp type. So we are good till now. Now we will be fetching some data. So start of selection, perform fetch data. Create this subroutine and put it under F01. Select TNR as from MARC up to 20 rows, something like this. So into table IT underscore MARC. So putting a breakpoint here. Run this program. We will go into debugging mode. So in ITMARC we will be having 20 records. First record is blank, surprising. How come we have a blank record? This is nonsense. So anyways, I mean, I'm not going to database and checking why it's happening. Simply use a delete statement, delete it underscore marc where matner equal to, so this would be deleting my blank line, and then I'm putting a loop at it underscore marc into underscore marc. Before this I want to sort, so it's mandatory to sort our internal table based on a particular field for which you want to you want to use these control break events. So you have to sort it in such a way that all the fields to the left side of your field, I mean the field on which you want to put the statement, are also sorted, which means I'll just try to explain in debugging mode. So okay, sort it underscore marc by matnr by matnr, let's say. Now what I was trying to say here is F5, so I'm having only 19 records, that blank is gone now. My next statement would be sorting this. So I think it's already sorted, but still. So some kind of sorting happened here. So what I was trying to say, that let's say we have material, plant, and then next is storage location, and you want to use the control break events on storage location, or maybe you want to use it on plant, then you need to sort it by matnr and plant, so that the field on the left hand side of your field or your key field are also sorted. Then only your control break events would work fine. So we'll come back to our code again. So the very first thing which we are going to do is we are going to display the complete data. Write -matnr so this is my output, full table. So matnr and plant, I made a mistake. This has to be out of the loop. So it looks better now. So we have, what we did, we have written the full table here. Material, plant, material, plant. So what we were seeing in the debugging mode, same thing is written here. Next thing what we are going to do is, so we'll just revisit our example. So they also just wrote the complete table here. Okay, site ABAP, and then so basically it will show that. Okay, we will also be writing site ABAP subsequently, and then okay, now we will be looking at first and last. First and last is nothing but the first record and the last record of your table. That's what it's going to do. So we will also be doing like that. Loop at it underscore marc into so we'll be calling this event like this at first, Right. TNR. And this has to be ended with an end at statement. So it's like this. Now they were able to write this here because they know, or anyway we are going to, okay, so we are going to use this statement inside the loop. Earlier you saw that what happened when I wrote this inside the loop, it came with every record, but then here it's not going to happen because this block is going to trigger only for the first record. This block is going to trigger only for the last record. So this will be a notification. It would help us to see what we are exactly writing in the output. First record. Similarly, let's do one thing. So here you can see for full table, I mean anyway the loop would be running for 19 times. But we will be coming here. So loop ran for 19 times, it will write 19 records. Now it will go in this loop. So see what happens now. It went inside at first, so it will trigger. It will write this, it will write this. Now this is something I wanted to explain you. So on the work area for which you are using the control break event, it will convert all the values into star. So that is something done by standard SAP. So what we do to tackle this, we create another work area. So this is something I wanted to explain, and that was the reason in the example they have taken a temp work area. So we'll show you here. So what they generally do here is that before they apply a control break event, so same thing, I mean even we are also going to do, because control break events change the values of the fields to star, we need to pass the data into another work area and then write that work area. So wa hyphen temp equal to wa hyphen, oh sorry, w underscore marc. Now let's go to debugging mode and see what happens there. It comes here, so we are not bothered about the first loop. We'll come to the second loop. F5, this work area will have the values. Now you know that the first record is 38. It was transferred to that work area. Now since this is my first record, this is going to run. It ran. This is not my last record, so this will not run. It simply came to end loop, and this way now it won't run the first one, it won't run the last one either. So this way, and you can see its site abex is third, so it will keep on checking this till the end, and till the time it's not 19. So anyway at first is not going to trigger at all now, but at last will be triggered only for the 19th record. So you have to look here. I'm doing it a little fast, so it will come to the 19th record, and then it will take the last record. So that event will be triggered in the case of last record. So 16 done, 17 done, 18 done. It won't trigger. This should trigger now. Triggered, and then you can see that it came into this conversion exit. I have already explained the concept. So whenever there is a standard field we want to write in the output and there is a standard conversion exit attached to it, system will by default take it in the consideration. Out of loop, and you can see the output. Full table is this. This is SAP-ABAP. At first, at last, first record is 38. This last record is 78. This. So this is the last record. This is the first record. So I hope you are clear with this first event. Now let's move to the next event, that is at new, I believe. Okay, at end of. So this is one event at end of. So you can see the output of this at end of. Whenever there is a material ends, then it will trigger. So let's just do the same thing here. So at end of what? At end of Matner. So here also we are writing the SAP-ABAP, and then I'll explain why we have done this. This is not required now. So let's go to debugging mode again and we'll see the impact. So every time I need to switch to that web link because even I also don't have examples in my mind. So I also need to refer the things at some point of time. So I'll directly jump here, put a breakpoint, do an F7, it will take you to that statement. The other way, okay, for example, I'm here. Let's talk about something else. Let's say I go here, debugger, go to statement. So let's say my cursor is here and then I press my cursor here and again do a debugger go to statement. So the code in between will not be processed. Just a reminder, I have explained this in debugging tutorial, I believe. Okay, so to this. So now if you see, we have 38 at first number, 43 at second number, 58 at third number, it goes up to 8th number, 59 goes up to 14th, 68 up to 16th, 78 up to 19th, something like this. So at end of Matner, so first material ends here itself. It will write the detail. 38 ends here itself. Next material, it also ends. It will write. Third material doesn't end, which means third one ends at 8th. Okay. So it will keep on going till that does not end. You can see the SAP-ABAP. This is 8, so it will write. So if I do an F8 now, you can see first, second, then 8th, 58 ends, 14, 59 ends, and then 19, 78 ends. So this is something we can achieve by using at end of. So at end of is basically wherever the material ends. or my field ends, the field on which I want to put the operation. Similarly, if you see, we have add new wherever it begins. This. So we'll just see the impact of that as well. So these are very important events, and I mean in some complex scenarios wherein you want to do some operation inside the loop, this is going to be very useful. And trust me, there are, I mean, out of 20 reports, at least 10 would be there which will not be completing without the control break events. That's like 50%. So add new. So add new maintainer, simple. So add new and field name. At end of and then field name. At first, at last, it's not required. Come here, jump here, F7. So for the first record it will trigger because material is changing. So material changes here, here, and then here as well, and then changes at 9th number. So it's going for second. So it changes yes. Going for third record changes yes. Going for fourth record changes no. So it will skip. Fifth changes no. Sixth changes no. Seventh changes no. Eighth no. Ninth changes yes. So it went inside. So there is no magic, it's very simple event basically. So you can see it 1, 2, 3, 9. So 138, 243, 358 is the new one, and then 959 is the new one. So that is how it is. And then I think again it got hanged, but there will be one more which will be at, I think two more, 15 and then 17. So that's basically the concept of control break events. On change of is obsoleted, so we will not talk about it. Interview point of view, you can say it's obsoleted, still can be used outside the loop, can be used in a do and do situation, case and case kind of situations. But then yeah, I mean object oriented programming, it won't accept this. Yeah, so the benefit of C, you can see at end of event is that you can calculate your summation. I mean you can keep on calculating the summation in the loop for every record, but you can display it at the end. So at end of that particular material, let's say I have 5 materials in my output, so for every material I can write a summation, something like that. At last I can write a final summation. So it's like you can, I mean let's go to so if I go to my output, so basically what I was trying to say is in this output I can do a subtotal for this, subtotal for this, subtotal for this at this place. So it's like at end of maintainer you can write a subtotal for every maintainer. At last you can write a complete total for all the line items, something like that. So that's the difference. So this is done. Let's go back to our agenda. So control break is done. Okay, lock objects. First we should understand the function module, then only we will talk about lock objects. So let's go ahead and then work on the function module. I think in some of the tutorials you would have seen that we are calling a function module via pattern button, and I have also explained that a function module can be searched, or it can be looked into via T code called SE37. Even we can create a function module here. So if I talk about my standard function module, reuse ALB grid display, using which we displayed our ALB output. If I do a display here, so let's understand the components of a function module. So I'm going to SE80 view. This is how my function module looks like. So every function module would be having a function group. For example, in this case, if I double click here, so first function module, what is a function module? I mean, I have already explained, it will take some values and input. Again, it may or may not take, it may or may not export some values, I mean as an output. Internally, it may or may not change some values in an internal table or work area. It may or may not operate with some tables. I mean, it all depends on the requirement. It may or may not throw an exception. All depends on you, how you are programming it. But then at the end of the day, it will do some kind of operation. It could be anything. It could be just calculating a subtotal. It could be calculating a total. It could be writing, let's say, hello world. Anything it could be. But then, okay, so first thing is function group. So you can see that we have a function group here, slbc underscore full screen. So the purpose of this function group is to basically to associate all similar kind of function modules to one function group. It's like a placeholder. So it's like a top view, and then inside this you will be having function modules. Now if I do a double click here, so in the backend it automatically generates a function pool. So function pool is nothing but a program. So our function module is slvc underscore full screen. In the same way, it will just add SAP here, and then SAP-L, and then it will generate a program which can be viewed via SE80 or SE38. If I am having a G function group here, let's say GSLVC, it will be like SAP-LZ. So whenever you can see SAP-LZ, you can edit it by hitting on this button. As of now, we cannot, so we have to request for a license key. I have already explained the concept of license key in one of the videos. So whenever there is a function module, there must be a function group. So the best way of doing it, that whenever you create a function module, first you create a function group. So let's go and create a function group now. And the other thing which we should discuss here is that type of function modules. So it will be displayed, I mean, in the attribute button. So we have three kind of function module. Normal, just takes input, gives output, or does some kind of operation. Remote enabled, it can be called via a different SAP or non-SAP system. The criteria is that, let's say I'm calling it from my SCM system. So from SCM, if I'm calling RFC, so my target is, let's say, ECC. So I'm calling an RFC from ECC. So the criteria is that it may or may not exist in SCM system, but it must exist in ECC system, because it must exist in my target system. Update module, very rare cases we will be using it, basically being used to update the standard databases in most of the time, and it will be called in update mode. So update mode is basically, it will be triggered when your commit work is executed. Once your commit work is executed, the update stuff will be assigned to the update work process, and after that, based on your assignment, I mean, I'm talking about a custom function module, start immediately, immediate start, no restart. So these two things are like, we will call it like V1, that is high priority, very high priority. It will be taken care of immediately, but then start delayed, and then collective run, it's like V2 update. It will be taken care of only when there is a update process free. So very high priority, this is normal priority, both will take care of updating the standard database in various ways. This will be called via different system, provided it's available in the target system. Normal is basically it should be available in the same system. If there is an edit log, it means the the person who created this function module doesn't want you to edit anything inside this. Global is okay, it's global. Released to us on 1999, which means SAP is not doing any R&D on this. It's released for us. Sometime you'll say it's not yet released, then SAP is still doing some R&D. This is the program, I explained this. This is the package changed on this via some kind of support pack. So okay, so function module will be having a function group. So let's create a simple function. Before that, we will be creating a function group. Everything I prefer to create via SAT. GFG underscore test. Let's say this is my function group name. Short text would be test function group. Everything I am putting into local object, no need to fill that transport request. So it is here. Now do a right click and activate this. Most important thing. Otherwise next step is going to stuck. So as I said, the moment you create a function group, it will create a program or a function pool SAP-L and then your function group name. By default it would assign top and then UXX. So top is nothing but the declaration section. You can modify this, you can add your declaration. It is going to be helpful if you are assigning, let's say, 100 of function modules here. So all the declaration could be, can be put in one place. And here, this is not supposed to be changed. We will leave it as it is. So you can declare top here. And then you can add more, I would say, includes here like F01 include, which we normally get in our SAT reports. When we create a report via SAT, that way you can add includes here. Now, so I have a function group here for sure. It's active. What I'll do, I'll create a function module. This function module will be assigned to this function group. So by default it's proposing the name. If it's not, you can propose a function group name. Function module name is also, we can GFM underscore test. Sorry, short text would be test FM. Function module name reserved for SAP means it's a success message. Everything is going fine till now. Let's activate this. Now if you guys had already gone through my tutorial on subroutine operation, it's very similar to that. So anyway, attribute is going to be a normal one. Let it be like this for now. No edit log, no global, nothing. Created by me on this date. So it will import certain values. So basically, let's say some kind of parameter which we define on the selection screen. Export certain values, some kind of value it will export. Changing is basically you are changing some parameter within this. Tables is basically internal tables. Exception, you want to raise an exception. Source code is where you want to put your coding. Let's say I do a type I give an input a type I. So the moment I input this here and hit enter, oh, thanks to my system. Okay, so these are some of the videos which are uploaded. Field symbol type any table like this. Okay, so I don't have many active. Okay, audiences, very few people, 25. Okay, anyways, so what happened to this? Okay, I don't think that. Okay, let's not go ahead with the function module today. I'll be completing this session here itself. So I would request you to go via the control break events concept. It's a very simple concept. Write some code and then try to debug it and see the impact of that. So again tomorrow I'll be working on the function modules and different kind of function modules. Once that is done, I'll be taking you through log objects, and once that is also done, so this is done. This, let's remove this. So this will be done by tomorrow. Then based on this you can understand this and then this. Okay, so then I'll be covering these top topics. Let's try to cover complete this tomorrow, or maybe in two different sessions. So I think it's got hanged. So I'm just stopping it here and then we'll catch you again. Thank you.